Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers, and welcome to the read along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and today we're talking about The Light of the Midnight Stars by Rena Rossner.
We're live.
All right, so welcome to part 3 of The Light of the Midnight Stars. We have a little bit of lag, so Joseph, if I talk over you, I apologize. It is not intentional.
No, it's fine.
So for this part, the epitaph, I still don't know if I'm saying that word right, was page 2 of the introduction of the Book of Solomonars. Man, too many vowels. I just can't get my mouth around it. Anyway. And then the little prologue-y bit before this section, the people and the inhabitants of the town suspect that the Solomonars are to blame for the black mist and rot. And the black mist is personified, which is very spooky.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Spoopy.
Yes.
Yep. And then we get our Sarah chapter. Good old Sarah.
She's something.
Yeah. She's, speaking of sneaky, she's all sneaking around at night now and just snooping on people.
Yeah.
Snooping on stuff she shouldn't be snooping on. Meeting boys in the woods that also turn into foxes and stuff. Yeah,
this is where we really take a dive into the fantasy of it all.
So I think it's funny how there's like a throwback to, or a callback to the things they were talking about in one of the previous chunks when they were like foxes not behaving the way foxes should and owls swooping up at the moon instead of down onto the fields, and it's like, oh, it's because they're shape-shifting.
Yeah. They're
like
Jews.
They're people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I told you. You got to pay attention to the little Easter eggs she drops along the way because she picks them up. It's one of the things I love about Rena Rossner. So we meet all these creatures. So a couple of interesting things about Father, or Abba. As she's following him out of the house, she notices that the mist doesn't touch him. Like, as he's walking, the black mist, like, moves around his feet, which I think is really interesting. And then we also learn that his power is especially potent because he's able to turn himself into a mist dragon and then ride the mist dragon.
Yeah. He can like shapeshift into the dragon thing and then undo the shapeshift but still somehow retain the dragon so it's still there and then ride it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm hoping we learn more about how that works because I am confused by it. I don't think in a good way. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be kind of mysterious right now, and then as she kind of works with her new pal Foxboy, I'm thinking that some more things will be revealed, like the mechanics of it. But maybe the author wants to leave it as a bit of a mystery. Maybe this is a soft magic system and not a hard magic system.
But they have like prayers and things that they have to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
I don't think it's super one way or the other, but I think it's more soft than some magic systems so far, but that could just be because we don't know the intricacies, So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet a character. She's following this fox around. This dude turns into a fox and she follows him around, and she gets stuck in a bush, and then the fox comes back and just looks at her and sniffs her.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck, man? And then turns back into a person and comes back and helps her out. And what's his name? Starts with a G. I forget.
Guvriel? Guvriel.
Guvriel, yeah. Guvriel. I listened to these, so the names are a little different because
they say them with the accent that they should be said with.
Sarah is Sarah,
Oh.
and um, yeah, for Hannah's chapters, it's um, Hannah, and the boy is Jacob, not Jacob, and
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it is interesting.
Hmm. Well, so we have definitely applied our American language to the names and such,
Yeah,
which is why I have
yeah.
such a hard time with the longer ones.
Hmm.
But yeah, go
But
Goofrio.
anyway,
You have to pay
yeah.
attention to that next time you hear it because I'm not sure what kind of noise, if it's like a hard U or a soft U, ga or gu.
I
Ooh.
think the gov syllable is pretty fast, and like the emphasis is on the back end of the name, like
Hmm.
Gabrielle. Like it's more,
Okay,
yeah,
that's prettier sounding than Goofrio.
yeah, Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
But
Okay, I like
either
it.
way, she has a buddy now. She convinces him to help her study, or he like feels bad for her that she's not able to study.
Well, and
Kind
he's
of a mix of both.
confused. Yeah, he's confused why her father hasn't told her these things because, like, they all know that she's fairly powerful. So he's, like, shocked that she doesn't know about, like, the three watches and what they're doing out in the woods because they're, like, they don't really even tell us at this point, except that they're praying
Hmm.
over the woods and keeping watch. And she also doesn't understand why her father's keeping her in the dark, which is part of her problem.
Hmm.
But yeah, they
And
strike
she
up a
also
deal.
gets to hear someone give her some words of affirmation. Like you have the
Yeah.
potential to be one of the most powerful, uh, like magic people ever. And it was super impressive all the fire you made. And like most people, even adults wouldn't be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they did, they'd be super wiped out afterwards. And she's like, "Whoa, really? Tell me more."
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah.
She's kind of enamored with him.
Hmm.
But that comes we'll
Yes.
see more of that later. So our next
Yeah.
chapter
Love is in the
is
air.
very much so. Except for Levana. Levana got another short little chapter. Not a lot happens except that Abba takes her to synagogue, and we see now that he's taking her really regularly, and he's also
Hmm.
like telling her how the stars are connected to people and how they're stronger together than apart. So it kind of seems like Abba's putting the like attention and effort into training Levana instead of Sarah, even though Levana hasn't done any like magic yet that we know of.
Hmm.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah. Well, because she's the one that gets to go to the synagogue with dad and like hear him
Mm-hmm.
talk, and she's getting all of these like one on one uh like lessons on how the world works with dad, and Sarah's at home in front of the fireplace
Weaving.
trying to fill a glass of water. It's
And
like,
yeah, trying to fill a glass of water and weaving. It's very strange.
yeah. I'm confused as to why they're treating Sarah with kid gloves when she's like super powerful in this magic that they have. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm also a little baffled by how they're treating her. We'll see how that continues to unfold.
Yeah. Um, yeah, her chapter was literally like a page and a half, so I
Mm-hmm.
guess and that's pretty much it. So moving on to Hannah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Hannah finally, she arrives at the palace with Jacob, and we're reminded that there's some secrecy around her helping him because there is like a negative connotation around the Jews in the city. So,
Yeah. And she's being really sneaky with her healing magic. She's like trying to disguise it with like herbs and poultices and stuff,
yeah,
even though a lot of it is coming like from her to like magically heal the Duchess lady.
right.
She's having to kind of hide that because she doesn't want to be accused of witchcraft.
Yeah. Um, Right, and she's also like she's not really sure what the cause of the Duchess's illness is, so she's trying to like weave like protections against illness, but also ward against demons. Because she's like, if it's the black mist, I don't really know what that is, and it could be a demon, but I
Yeah.
don't know. So she's
Mm-hmm.
trying to cover all of her bases. And on top of that, she's just very overwhelmed by how fine everything is. She spends a lot of time like thinking about the bed and all the pillows and the blankets and the food.
Yeah.
Even though the
The
first,
feather mattress.
yes, the first batch of food she gets isn't kosher, so she doesn't eat. And then Jacob realizes that she's not eating, and he asks someone, and they say, well, it's because it's not kosher. So he goes off and gets her kosher food. And yet again, the girl is enamored with the boy that is helping her.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
I think it's really sweet,
Like
though,
I said,
that
love is in the air
love is in the air. Yes.
for these
I
both
think,
these sections, this one and the next section.
yes.
So.
I think we will continue to see that as a theme. But I think it's really sweet how she several times has thought about her sisters. Like she's thought, oh, Sarah would really want to know all about these pastries, and Levana would love like being able to see the stars from here, and those kinds of moments I think are really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good big sister, even if when she's with them, at least in the earlier chapters, she seemed kind of like standoffish. So it's nice to see her like thinking endearingly towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the incident in the garden. So this is interesting because she walks with Jacob in the evenings, right?
Right.
And they do this almost every day. And he reveals that he has joined the Order of the Dragon, which is like
Right.
its emblem is a dragon that's eating its own tail with a cross on it. And Hannah says that crosses have never meant anything good for the Jews, which I thought was interesting. And then, like, as they're talking about this, which they have a lot of discussions about religion, Judaism versus Christianity, or whatever the Order of the Dragon is. And while they're having this conversation, he gets bit by a snake. And I think that's going to be important later, so I want to point it out here.
Yeah. I thought it was it was a interesting moment. I mean, it was kind of like just a moment where her magic is now revealed because she just gets down there immediately and like sucks the venom out with not like with her mouth like a Western like
Right.
this like with the magic she like she water bends the venom out of the wounds
She does.
and it's the cat's out of the bag and he's like, you're an angel, and she's like, what? No, stop, shut up.
Yeah.
No, you're an angel sent to protect me and my family, and everything will be fine so long as you're here, and it's like all this stuff, and so now it's like, okay.
And then they kiss. Very scandalous. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is actually kind of scandalous.
Tonsil hockey.
But she does heal the Duchess, and she's returned home at the end of her chapter, and Jacob asks Abba what he must do to marry her, and Abba sets impossible conditions for him, which I'll be curious to see how that plays out.
Like he basically has to become a rabbi, like not necessarily like a rabbi, but it's like he's expecting him to like completely familiarize himself with all the Jewish scriptures,
become fluent in Aramaic,
in Hebrew and Aramaic, yeah. So that's a tall order in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then once the 2 years are up, he's like, I'll marry my daughter off to someone else, but I'll make sure that she stays single for 2 years. And it's like, well, that'll be easy because she's also like super in love with him and super smitten with him.
Right. She's not going to marry anyone else. At
Right.
least in those 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what is brewing with Hannah.
Yeah, so lots of questions about this that this section has stirred up. Like, what's the deal with Abba? And why is he ignoring teaching Sarah in favor of filling Levana's head with information? I think it's viable and valuable information, just confused.
Or maybe Sarah has already gotten that information when she was younger too.
Oh, maybe. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like Levana is all about the moon and the stars, and I don't know. She feels very different from the other two.
Yeah, she's very like head in the clouds, like super. She seems distracted, like she's always like daydreaming, or not necessarily absent-minded, but just like
Hyperfixated on the sky.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Less you don't well, because the chapters are so short too, you don't really see her doing many day-to-day things, and she's just very much just that is her role. She's looking at the sky. You don't see her doing mundane housework or anything. You don't see her interacting with anybody really, except for Abba, or at least we haven't in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
And Ima.
Right.
So. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and also, oh no, that's in the next thing. But there's just a lot of stuff that's going down with people starting to blame the Jewish people for the Black Mist stuff.
Yeah, because it's whispering.
Yeah.
That's in this epigraph for this section.
And I'm curious to see more of the magic stuff and how that'll work out.
Totally.
With the shape-shifting Jewish people and the elemental magic. There's just a lot of stuff going on, so I want to learn more. I want to know what the deal is. So yeah, but I guess we'll pick it up next time in the next part,
which you can listen to right now.
Yes. Yes, coming at you live. Not really. It's not live. But yeah, the next part will be available now as you're listening to this, so go check it out. Yeah. But until then, happy reading.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.